Did you realize that we spent our time? You know how we usually like talk about what we're kind of get an idea of maybe like actors to bring up and all that kind of stuff. We instead talked about video games, Skyrim and Dragon's Dogma.
Oh, and what we're reviewing today?
Yeah, did you not put that together?
Nope, not at all.
Like halfway through our conversation, I was like, "We're talking about dragon video all by accident." We both are just we're talking about dragon.
I
video
like
games.
dragons.
That is some
Subconscious.
Thank you. Subconscious shit right there.
If dragons were real, just that.
Do you have a dragon you would like to meet?
Actually, yeah, but it's a dragon from a book that you haven't read.
Oh, I didn't even think about books. I was thinking about movies. God, Aragon. I should read that.
Smaug.
You want to meet Smog?
No.
Oh,
Smaug.
whatever. I want to meet.
Pronounce it right.
I want to meet Draco. Dragonheart. Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
Dragonheart.
Yeah, I went to Game of Thrones. What was his name?
Oh, I don't want to meet those dragons either. There's a lot of dragons I don't want to meet.
I'm gonna eat you. Wait, what if the dragon was like, dude, it's all sneaky, like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna eat you.
I'm a sneaky little dragon.
I'm a sneaky little dragon.
This is Tommy.
This
is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape.
Witness me. No, that was last week. Hello, everybody.
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
Oh, God. I got a horrible cough right now. Not like a bad... It's just hungover cough is the best way to put it.
Oh, I didn't know you hung over. Well, hello.
Hey, yeah. I was actually trying not to bring it up, but yes, I am.
Welcome to work.
Yeah. Woo! Woo! The party girl. Woo! Let me take off my shirt. I'm maybe be a little drunk still.
Wow, you went hard. Welcome to episode 91.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're reviewing Reign of Fire today.
Reign of Fire. It's almost like, I feel like there's a wrestling joke in there. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, we're continuing again, still with our post-apocalyptic dystopian future block. Movie block.
We're now leading into this little part of it is going to be an outside force causing the end of the world.
Yeah. So the first two, if you don't, Snowpiercer and Mad Max was more brought upon human, or it was more environmental.
Yeah,
more environmental,
drastic environmental changes due to human interaction.
Yeah, and this is dragons.
Yeah, this is dragons in the world.
What if dragons were real? I'm a sneaky little dragon. Yeah. So I guess we'll just get right into it there. So yeah, Reign of Fire came out on July 9th of 2002. I saw this in the theaters. And I think that's the last time I actually watched it all the way through. It was 20 years ago. So,
yeah, I don't remember. I remember this movie being different because I haven't seen it in a long time.
Oh, it was very much 100% what I remembered it to be. But I do have sad Jacob story. This was a year after my father passed away.
Uh-huh.
And I remember me and my friends went to the theater to go see a movie, but the movie that they wanted to see was rated R, and I wasn't 17 yet. We tried to sneak me in, didn't happen, so they went and saw a movie, and I was just like, well, I'm just going to go watch this movie, Reign of Fire, instead.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sitting there, and the movie theater was pretty empty. I kept getting this feeling and flash of my father sitting next to me. Like my dad's spirit was with me watching this movie that he would have wanted to take me to the theaters to see.
Would your dad have liked this movie?
Oh, my dad was a huge D&D nerd, Magic the Gathering. He introduced me to D&D, to Magic the Gathering. He introduced me to fantasy. He had posters of dragons and wizards and shit. So yeah, 100%
would have been up his alley.
100. It would have been a father-son day at the theaters, you know. But yeah, no, it was really interesting. I will never forget that. Just watching this movie and I kept getting this feeling that my dad was with me. So yeah,
that's sweet.
Yeah. So it's got a 6.2. I hard transition. It's a rating, so 6.2 on IMDb. Has a 42 tomato meter rating, a 49% audience score, and a 39 Metacritic Metascore.
This movie's a little rough.
It is.
I remember
I remember kind of like, even like that sweet story about me feeling like my father was there. I do remember kind of like leaving the theater and being like, meh.
Yeah, it's kind of
meh. I mean, it's a cool idea. Actually, I would love for this premise to be made into like a TV series today.
I was thinking about that. I respectfully kind of disagree because I feel like, which is weird because I'm always like the guy for that.
Yeah.
But I feel like this had a chance. This was its shot to be like lightning in the bottle and make it work. And I think they kind of missed their opportunity.
I think this movie came out too ahead of its time.
Really, I think this is the perfect time for it to come out, and they could have killed it.
I feel like if they would have killed it and it would have been better, it would have sparked something more,
like a show or another,
yeah,
or sequel.
or even just like it sparked, like dragons are cool again type thing. It took Game of Thrones to make dragons cool again. You know what I mean? I mean, dragons have always kind of been cool.
I'm like, what are you talking about? They're giant fire-breathing lizards. They're awesome.
But, like in popular culture is what I mean,
Yeah.
Like Game of Thrones brought dragons back and people are like, dragons, woo! But I feel like...
I guess they also made, like, Game of Thrones really made dragons scary again.
Yeah, that too.
They're a very intimidating force.
But, like, I feel like the premise of this, also the fact that since this movie technically takes place in 2020...
Oh, yeah. I noticed that.
I saw that. I was like, ha! I survived the dragons. I feel like the premise of this movie could really... Because special effects are a lot better, and there was an idea of a good story in here, but then it just became too, like, cliche and stereotypical of, like, how Americans are and how the British are. And... ridiculous premise of How to Catch Dragons and stuff. But
yeah, I
feel like it could be flushed out more.
It could definitely be. I haven't been so disinterested in a movie in a while.
It was definitely, I had to definitely throw my phone across the room so I wasn't constantly checking my phone.
Yeah, like I also didn't like take a lot of notes because I was like, okay, just like watch the movie because I'm so like I'm gonna start doodling in a second.
Yeah, but yeah. I think this movie could use a facelift. I don't think it's ever gonna happen, but
that's another thing. It's like, but does it? It may not happen, but does it need to happen?
Like, that
this
too.
Can just be. Yeah. We can just shelf this.
Well, let's continue. So, box office, it was number 55 worldwide and domestic.
Weird.
What
you said? Worldwide and domestic. It was number 55.
Mm-hmm.
Just where they're both.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, I think this is still around that time where in the early 2000s, they weren't really counting a lot of other worldwide stuff.
True, yeah.
But yeah, do you have any more box office numbers for that?
This is also kind of weirdly, 2002 was the year of the sequel, which I thought was kind of interesting.
There's a lot of good movies this year.
It was like Two Towers, Attack of the Clones, Men in Black 2. Like a lot of twos came out in the twos. Budget of $60 million and grossed about $82 million, and don't know where that money went.
What do you mean?
The 60 million. I was watching it and I was like, okay, this is where it is right here.
I mean, yeah, like kind of the end more.
Yeah, I was like, when you when you get the good look at the dragon, I was like, this is where a lot of the money went, right in this.
There's actually like notes through on Wikipedia about how there was a lot of trouble with like figuring out the animatronics and animation of the dragon and whatnot.
Yeah, and I mean, but that's also like, I remember, I don't know if we've talked about it, but that's also something that has been probably until more recently. Dragons have always been a really rough thing to really get right in movies, and there's been a lot. I've read articles about it, and it's also because of what a dragon actually is. Number one, it's very serpent-like a lot of the time, so then you get the neck motion, the scales, and then having them rendered correctly to actually like either reflect light and not make it look muddled and like kind of in the background. Dragons are just kind of a tricky thing to do correctly.
Which is weird because they're a mythical creature and they could look whatever we want them to look like.
Yeah, but I think people have an idea of what a dragon looks like, especially in Western culture. Like there's Because, across the world, there's so many different dragons that you can, like, pick from.
Well, yeah, there's, like, a Chinese dragon, or an East Asian dragon, I should say.
A worm, or
a worm.
A worm, yeah.
Weirvin worms. Through across the world, there is a mythos of dragons, and within each mythos, they all have their own distinct image. Like Shenron in Dragon Ball Z is a very classic idea of a Eastern Asian dragon.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking how cool if they did like a Shadow of Colossus, but like a dragon hunter.
That would be cool.
How fucking sick would that be? and travel the world, but it's like.
That might be what Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to be. But anywho, how many movies did you see this year, sir?
80.
Damn it. I was hoping I was going to beat you this time. 66.
66. I was like when I was doing it, I was like, seen that, see, wow, okay. Like I saw a lot in this year.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's go into your synopsis.
Once I had this thought, it was really hard to shake it, so I just made it my synopsis. This is Terminator Salvation, but instead of Christian Bale fighting robots, he's fighting dragons to save a barren, destroyed Earth. I couldn't unsee it. Once I saw it, I couldn't.
It's like 10 years apart.
No, I know, but it's just like because of like the look of the film, who one of the main stars is, everything about it was just like I couldn't unsee it. Like
it's crazy to think that he went from this and American Psycho to Batman.
Looking at his film credits, I've actually seen pretty much every single one except for recent Christian Bale.
I've seen a lot of his stuff too, yeah.
I've seen pretty much every single one of his movies, which I was like, it's weird because I don't consider myself like a Bale fan. I'm not like, oh yeah, let's go see him.
It's probably just like the movies that he just happens to be in.
Yeah, it's like a style of movie that he like goes to.
He was in Equilibrium, right?
Yeah. He's so sick and stupid. Gun jujitsu, whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh yeah.
That movie's so stupid, but I love it.
I remember remember that people like trying to like argue like what is better, The Matrix or Equilibrium?
The Matrix, hands down. But Equilibrium's sick.
But there's like people that'll be like, no, The Matrix is just a cheap rip off of Equilibrium, and it's like,
no, it's not. They all wear black. That's it.
And trench coats and
trench coats and shit. Also, did I ever tell you about that? I don't know. I don't get the Matrix and the way they dress. I'm sorry, this is a weird side tangent, and I'll get back on track in a second. But like, the whole idea is they're trying to hide from agents.
And yet
they dress like they're going to a BDS like club.
That's not what I was gonna say, but
like they're all wearing like tight leather red trench coats and sunglasses at night, and they all look. It's like y'all look like agents for rebellion. Like I don't.
Was it Grandma's Boy with a guy that walked around like he was Neo?
JP.
Yeah,
I am a robot. Yeah. I hate your face. You're fucking weird. That's a great movie. That's a fucking funny movie.
All right. Oh, man, I have a story about that. Okay, we need to continue on. Let's actually get into crew and stuff.
Okay. Directed by Rob Bowman.
Yeah, who doesn't really have a lot.
And
he's more of a TV director, I saw.
A lot of TV.
But he did direct... he directed 34 episodes of The X-Files and the X-Files movie, which I was like, oh, cool, I know this guy.
And he's also the director of Oscar-winning movie Elektra.
Why would you even joke about that?
Because I forgot that movie. This is in the day Marvel movies were rough.
Oh, yeah. Well, dude, I can't believe, how did they get from, like, Daredevil, which was already just a god-awful mess, and they're like, yeah, let's give Elektra her own movie now, because we want to be progressive and have women be powerful. I didn't mean that'd be so condescending. But
yeah. I can speak for him as a person. He did not mean for that to be condescending. It's more of just because Daredevil is terrible.
Yeah,
and it's like, don't just let it go to sleep.
And then the Elektra movie just has this horrible storyline of how she's like protecting this. Like, she falls in love with this.
It almost felt like a League of Shadows ripoff, kind of thing.
It's not good.
I mean, I did like Affleck as
Daredevil,
as Matt Murdock.
Yeah, no,
and his costume was cool.
Ben Affleck has that superhero jaw. You know what I mean?
He just looks like a superhero.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, fucking, and he's depressed like one too in real life. Rob Bowman, yes. Also directed 13 episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Let's go to writers.
And he's been around for a while too.
Rob Bowman?
Yeah,
he has.
He's been around for a really long
No,
time.
yeah, he's been doing series for what, since like
86, I
late
think.
80s, yeah.
Yeah.
So writers for this is kind of interesting, a little bit of a story, because we have two people that wrote the story for this, and that's Greg Shabbat and Kevin Peterka.
Yes, and they wrote this in 1996, and then ended up selling it to Spyglass. Excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. Which then, from there, I guess the studio gave it to Matt Greenberg, who reworked the story and the script to fit for this movie.
And Matt Greenberg seems to be primarily a screenplay writer. That's kind of like their...
The biggest ones that
butter.
I noticed that stuck out to me on his list was Halloween H2O, 1408, which is the Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack movie.
Was that good?
I don't remember if I've seen it.
Maybe we should,
You know what I mean?
Maybe we should talk about October and maybe do some of these kind of more obscure. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know where I went there. And then the Pet Cemetery remake of 2019, which didn't need to be remade.
It wasn't bad though.
No, John Lithgow was great in it.
Yeah, like it wasn't.
The cutting of the Achilles heel scene is still terrifying.
I think that's just a thing for everyone because you know the damage that caused. Halloween H2O, that was at that kind of like attempt to reboot it, right? Like it's technically the sequel to the first one thing, right?
I mean, it would be technically a sequel to the second one. But yes, that's pretty, because it's when Jamie Lee Curtis came back.
So it's like 1 and 2, and then this one happened in like the storyline.
I think they kind of, in a weird way, let the other ones still kind of exist. But yeah, these are so it's a Halloween H2O 20 years later and Halloween Resurrections, which is the one with DMX in it, I think, or something. Those are the ones that we're pretending don't exist with this new Halloween reboot that's coming out. That's been out. But yeah, that's kind of what it was.
Okay. Yeah, okay. This gets to a point where horror movies get really confusing.
They only Halloween is a special case because every other like horror movie franchise, kind of like 1 through whatever, they continue the continuity and the story of it.
Yeah.
Like Nightmare on Elm Street 1 through Freddy's Dead, which is 6, one continuous storyline. They bleed into one another, and it just gets more ridiculous.
Yeah,
you know, Child's Play, even like other than like this Child's Play that we don't talk about, Child's Play, the series right now is still a continuation from Child's Play 1 to Curse of Chucky.
Did you send me that Who Would You Rather Deal With? And it was like Michael, Freddy.
No, I thought you sent that to me.
Okay, I couldn't remember who sent that to who.
Because I looked at it, I was like, I don't want to make this choice.
Chucky.
Yeah, I think that's you said that. I was like, no, it was like 3 months whatever. We need to continue on with this movie.
It was like Chucky attempt 3 times, a month with Freddy. Yeah.
So that was Matt Greenberg, everybody. Matt Greenberg was screenplay writer for Rain of Fire. Who's starring in this movie, Tommy?
Let me tell you. This little guy named Christian Bale.
Who is that?
Batman.
What is that?
A man that dresses like a bat with deep emotional issues.
That sounds far-fetched.
No, it's more far-fetched to have a woman dressed up as a cat. I still cannot believe that. Never mind. Not getting on that. Oh yeah.
Batman Begins when Christian Bale comes down and Liam Neeson is there like with Ra's al Ghul, and he's like, I didn't really mean to actually like turn into your fear. What is the quote that he says? Oh, you really took that embrace your fear seriously.
Does he say that?
Something like that. Because like he shows up as Batman, and you could just see like.
Oh, he says something about the theatrics of it. He's kind of like okay, like we didn't know we were gonna.
He's like, you really took that to heart, didn't you?
Yeah, Christian Bale. I just wrote down things I remembered.
Where are the other drugs going?
American Psycho, Machinist, Equilibrium. Oh, that's weird. Equilibrium came up again. 310 to Yuma.
Again, what do you mean?
I don't know. 310 to Yuma remake. When he was young, Empire of the Sun, Little Women. And he's most recently going to be in Thor. Love and
Thunder.
Love and Thunder.
Yep. He had a freak out on Terminator Salvation.
Did he?
So, yeah.
Was that the Mike one?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was on.
Yeah, that was on Terminator. When you brought that, I was like, okay.
I didn't know that was the. I know the freak out. I didn't know what movie it was. Terminator Salvation's not bad.
It's not great.
I know, but it's for apocalypse.
It's better than Terminator Genesis.
It's better than Reign of Fire.
I don't know about that.
Really? I think okay. It is. Up next is probably what? Right?
All right.
Matthew McConaughey.
The first things that I really put down was like True Detective because I just fucking love that series. And then Sahara, which we had never released, but that was a fun. That was a fun.
That was our technically first McConaughey.
That was our first. That was a test episode. Yeah. That was a fun. That was when we realized like, oh, there's research that can be done.
Yeah,
because that movie is based off like a book.
Yeah, that episode's also like 2 hours long. So
yeah. Killer Joe, which I recently watched, which I think would be interesting for you to watch. I don't think Fallon like it at all.
Mm-hmm. The Gentleman.
Oh yeah, that just came out. That was a wonderful Guy Ritchie movie. Mm-hmm. Interstellar.
Contact.
That's right. He is in Contact, isn't he? How many space movies has he done?
I don't know. I was just thinking that too. I think Contact was cool. I mean, I remember it being cool. It's kind of like a sci-fi drama.
Yeah, because like what ends like it's kind of like it's contact with the afterlife is what it turns out to be.
Yeah, like she's trying to reach her father.
No, she finds out that it's her father.
Right. Yeah. Spoiler alert. I mean, I guess that movie came out in like '96.
Yeah. Jodie Foster at some of her best too. Like she's
Contact. If you haven't seen that, what was that? What was that? Charlie Sheen alien movie, and their like legs bent backwards.
The Arrival.
Yeah, that was a cool one too.
Yeah, that's a weird one because it takes place in Mexico too.
That was a weird one, right?
Yeah,
I remember that one being cool.
I remember. It's so weird that you just brought that up because I was having a weird memory of that like a month and a half ago, and I said, "What was the name of that movie?" And I wouldn't have been able to tell you that if I wasn't thinking of it then.
Well, and the aliens were cool because they had like the bend back legs and the little flappy.
Yeah, thing. But like they also like found a way to camouflage as humans.
Yeah, that was weird. And it's like about him being like a paranoia and like man, we need more sci-fi movies like that.
There are now TV shows.
True. Yeah, Matthew McConaughey, Dazed and Confused, Lincoln Lawyer, Dark Tower.
Yeah. You want to do
Isabella probably?
Yeah, Isabella I'm doing you now. Skorupko. She's Polish. It's a Polish last name.
Yeah, she was born in Poland and grew up in Sweden with her mother and sister. Probably best known for Goldeneye, Exorcist: The Beginning, Vertical Limit, and then a bunch of other like.
The only one that I've really seen on that was Goldeneye. I don't think I've seen The Exorcist: The Beginning.
Saw that, and I have a weird fever memory of Vertical Limit.
I have no idea what the fuck it's like. I feel like I should know because of the name, Vertical Limit. You know, it's like
yeah.
I feel like it's probably like Cliffhanger on steroids. That's or something. That's what it sounds like.
I think it is like Cliffhanger. Like,
have you seen Cliffhanger?
No, my only exposure to Cliffhanger is Ace Ventura. If you were me and I'd be you, you know. Like,
oh my god!
I was never really like a big Stallone fan, particularly.
Me neither, really. My dad was.
Yeah, like I mean, I really like Demolition Man. Like
my dad was like a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Chuck Norris. Steven Seagal.
I was probably more of a Arnold fan.
Yeah.
Thinking, yeah, like for the big buff guys, like era, like probably, yeah, because it's because
one of my dad's favorite movies was Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, like one of my favorite ones was The Sixth Day, that weird clone movie.
Yeah. Isabella Scorupco. Oh yeah, you were looking up Vertical Limit, weren't you?
I was going. I dropped it.
Yeah, she's the one-dimensional female character in this movie.
She's the helicopter pilot.
Yeah, it's like the attempt of making a badass chick.
It felt like they started doing that.
Yeah,
then they took a real hard right,
and then it was like,
never mind.
Oh, and then she had her moment with Christian Bale.
I'm like, fuck, God,
it's like,
damn it.
Like they just met.
Yeah, that was so terrible. Like it really seemed like they were gonna make just like this badass helicopter military person.
Yeah,
and they just took a hard right. Like, never mind, fuck that.
She has a vagina. She must fall in love.
Yeah, it was brutal. And then I threw in Gerard Butler because it's baby Gerard Butler. Yeah, like it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean this is like before he really like took off.
Yeah.
I mean the biggest thing is obviously is 300. It's probably what he's most known for.
Yeah, like early to and like Lara Croft 2.
Yep, Cradle of Life.
Yeah, Rock and Rollo.
He's
Oh,
the Phantom.
in Phantom of the Opera. Oh, he's in a movie that I want to watch. Dracula 2000. He plays Dracula. I feel like he'd be a good Dracula. Like I want to watch it just to see him as Dracula. To
With
see
his
how
weird Scottish accent comes through. He's Scottish, right?
He's Irish.
He's Irish?
I think he's Irish.
Northern European. Put it all into one glump like that. Everybody likes that. Are you looking it up?
I just want to I just hate when I fuck that up personally. Oh, he's Scottish. Okay.
Yeah, I was right,
You were right.
motherfucker.
I could have sworn he was Irish. I don't know why.
Maybe you're thinking of Colin Farrell?
Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. Okay, so he's Scottish. There is this is kind of a random. What was it? I was like Paramount or something. Cop Shop.
Cop Shop.
It's a more recent movie of his, but basically the whole premise is guy with like a hit on him gets arrested, so that he gets arrested as well to kill. It's kind of like a Smoking Aces kind of vibe to it, like a John Wick Smoking Aces kind of shoot 'em up movie.
And it's new.
And it's new. It came out like 2020, 2019, something like that.
Okay.
But it's Cop Shop, and it was actually if you like John Wick and you're looking for a fun, just kind of shoot 'em up with kind of an interesting. I watched it and it was kind of like, huh, like that was interesting.
Dude, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 movies to be released in the next
I know,
year
I saw
or two.
that.
Like
It's crazy.
4 of them are in post-production, 4 of them are in pre-production, and 1 just got announced. Like
He's busy. He's also in an ARC TV show, an animated series, which I didn't know.
Oh, he's in that?
Yeah.
He's kind of a minor character.
I know, but I didn't like Elliot Page is in it too.
That is, Elliot Page doesn't surprise me because Netflix likes to recast inside of that. You know?
I know, but an ARC TV show is just so random to me.
Didn't you watch it? Oh, wait, no.
No, ARC is that survival dinosaur video game.
Oh, I was thinking, what am I thinking of? The League of Legends thing.
Oh, Arcane.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, well, I mean...
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, I was just like, ARC, the survival game? Like the serious, like... Okay, all right, anyways. But yeah, Cop Shop. If you want a cool shoot 'em up, watch that. Anyways.
Cop Shop.
Cop Shop.
Shop Cop.
And I love Gerard Butler. I think he's super attractive.
Yeah.
I think he's so cool. I want to meet him. He just seems cool. Like, hey, man.
Go get a pint with him?
Yeah, like I just want to like chit chat with him. He just seems like a cool dude.
Never meet your heroes. All right, so let's get into some reviews, buddy.
I kind of have a few that I want to bring up. So I did my like positive, mixed, negative, but then there were like 2 little short ones that I just thought were funny we'll get to that. But so on Metacritic for the critic reviews, 8 positive, 10 mixed, 12 negative.
Sounds about right.
Which I just liked the the twos, 8, 10, 12. Let's see. So for the positive, James Bradley. I'm sorry. I'm gonna. That's my attempt. Real reviews. The fact that Rain of Fire does what it sets out to do is a cause for celebration amongst those who like special effects laden action movies featuring fire breathing monsters and mayhem. Like, yeah. Like, okay, cool.
He knew what he was watching.
Yeah, he knew what he was watching. And then this one, another positive that I just thought was funny. Hank Sartine at Reader, an odd cross between Mad Max and Dragonheart. This movie is all borrowed ideas, but it's still trashy fun. And I just thought that was funny because we just did Mad Max.
Yeah, no, that's actually really amusing. I don't really agree with like borrowed ideas thing though. I feel like this is kind of an original idea.
I think it's a combination of borrowed ideas, but I also don't entirely agree with the Mad Max thing because the Mad Max thing has always been almost like it's been so ridiculous. This still feels like it's trying to be grounded in reality.
Yeah.
But Mad Max is very just like, I mean, especially Fury Road is over the top. Even the bad guys in their armor, you know.
No, Mad Max is over. Well, the more recent ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even like the bad guys in the original, the toe cutter, and they're wearing like pieces of car, and you know they look like raiders from Fallout.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just kind of ridiculous.
I never put that together actually.
Okay, then Elizabeth Weitzman at Daily News. Clearly, nobody's going to win any awards for this, but maybe Balaam McCartney. Maybe Bale and McCartney knew what they were doing after all. The music is loud, the action is fierce, and bodies are buff.
Nobody's gonna win any awards.
Clearly.
Wow.
Oh, and then another mixed Joe Leiden from Variety. An uncommonly satisfying mix of medieval fantasy, high-tech military action, and the Mad Max style misadventure. Like, I just thought that was so weird that there's so many these comparisons to Mad Max, and I was like, I don't feel that.
It's like, have these people watched Mad Max?
It's the end of the at the end
I
of
know
the world.
it's post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, and then maybe it's the whole like barren wasteland thing.
Yeah, but there's I don't know. That's just I think just maybe since this is 2002 and there hasn't been a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff really made yet in a way. Like it's not.
I guess we're kind of getting into it.
Yeah,
at this
because
point,
like
right?
even The Walking Dead isn't like a big thing yet.
Well, I'm just thinking of like 2012 and The Knowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this is kind of leading into that era. Of
Yeah, exactly.
Day After Tomorrow.
So like the only thing people have to compare this post-apocalyptic idea with is Mad Max.
I mean, that's all we're thinking of too. I'm sure there's got to be something as well in that because that's a big gap you're talking about from like 78 to 2002.
Well, I'm trying to think of Arnold movies right now from the 90s. So
when did End of Days come out?
Like 99, but that
was also during the cult shit that was really
but
popular.
I was gonna say like that's not post-apocalyptic. That's like
the end of the world.
Yeah, it's like we're still in a structured society. Like we're in the now times trying to stop the I can't really think of any like actual post-apocalyptic stuff.
Let's actually try to like put a pin in this and like actually try and think like maybe come back to that. And then the negative, right? That's what I was doing. Peter,
that wasn't the negative?
No, that was a mix. Dude.
Okay.
Like, okay, this isn't the one I chose, but like here for San Francisco Chronicle, Max Lasali, truly awful. That's all it said. But the one I picked was Peter Travers from the Rolling Stone.
Oh,
okay,
cool. All right.
This is actually kind of okay. So what's not like to like? There's the bad CGI, the choppy pacing, the comically intense acting, the repetition, the dullness, and mostly the idiot plot about how there's only one male dragon and everything will be fine if they kill the big dick. What? Somebody get a hose to put out this fire.
Man, that is so accurate.
And they give it a 20 out of 100.
And that is so accurate. There is definitely like a big machismo like that's like that could be a theme of this movie. It's just machismo.
Like it's
dragon.
Oh god, is that a weird what is it from? Oh damn it, it's gonna bug me.
Their castle.
Yeah.
Their wolf.
Yeah.
Why are you talking like that? Like you wanted me to. No, it suits me.
Werewolf.
Their wolf. Their castle.
Their castle. Their dragon.
How did I actually get that?
I don't know. That was actually pretty impressive. I think Michelle just told me she never has seen Young Frankenstein.
Oh, she would love.
I think she would get. I think she would get a kick out of it.
Does she like Mel Brooks at all?
I don't know. I think I made a Young Frankenstein joke, and she just kind of looked at me, and I was like, "Young Frankenstein." She's like, "Never seen it." I was like, very, very blown away. I think she'd really get a kick out of that movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I think she would just get a kick out of like most Mel Brooks. Like, do you think she would like? She probably like Men in Tights as well.
I think M would like Men in Tights more.
That's fair.
I just think the humor is it's both very Mel Brooks, but the humor is different. Like Men in Tights is a little more like I don't want to say goofy because they're both goofy.
They're both fucking
but they're different kind of goofy.
I mean, I think what you're thinking of is like the language that's used in Young Frankenstein is like it's a play also on the late 1800s like
and I think it's
era.
I think it's a little more clever. I think Young Frankenstein's a little more clever than Men in Tights, but I also haven't seen Men in Tights in forever.
They're both fucking awesome. Anywho, are we trying to avoid talking about this movie?
There's nothing really to talk about. I mean, like
I have some breakdowns. We're a movie review podcast, Tommy. We have to talk about even the
all
garbage.
we've talked about is movies, just not this movie. All right, let's start.
What's the theme? It's pretty easy.
their castle, their dragon
Survival. Come on. That's
of dragon.
This movie is all about survival.
Yes.
You really don't want to talk about this.
No, we
do
did. You start.
No, you start.
Survival. Yeah. It's just one dimensional. Like.
It is a pretty one-dimensional.
It's really just like, and again, like you kind of were saying that there was potential in this, but it really did feel like they kind of had this idea at the start. And did you also notice that what's his butt's in it? Evil King from Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, that his one little like.
Yeah, he's like 5 years old or something like that. But I'm like, you still look like that. Like, yeah, he's got a very sharp.
You know, he retired from acting because of Game of Thrones, right?
Because of the hate.
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Because of all the like.
It wasn't people. It wasn't necessarily like people were like bullying him online or like that whole like Star Wars bullshit. But he was just kind of like he was noticing that people were just like constantly like connecting him with that character and the horrendous of that character, and he was like, I don't really like that, and I don't want that anymore.
I mean, that means you did a good job.
Yeah, he was just kind of like, maybe this isn't for me because I don't really like that happening.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. To to get back to to break it down, it really is. It's like
Joffrey. That was his name.
Joffrey. Yeah.
What the fuck is his name?
Two macho guys from opposite end of the world.
Dude, I do gotta say, when Van Sant beats the fuck out of Quinn, Matthew McConaughey just beating the shit out of Christian Bale is fucking awesome.
It did make me wonder who would actually win in a fight.
Well, looking at what I saw, Matthew McConaughey, like...
Oh, yeah, this is before Batman, though.
Yeah.
So, like...
That's true. That's true.
What if he kicked his ass, like, in the Batman? Because, he trained. Like,
that's true, yeah.
The dude could probably, like, actually...
But, like, I don't know, like, Matthew McConaughey, like channeled some, like, inner beast.
Well, that's what I was going to say,
when he's,
too.
like, boom, like, his wind-ups on those punches, it's just, like, that would break someone's face open.
This is the most interesting part of the movie, too. This is an hour in, and there is the
conflict of them, like, of their...
Yeah. That's, like, that 10, 15 minutes is, like, the most interesting part of the movie. And the overacting, it's like, yeah, this is the only thing that's keeping this movie. This is the glue holding the two pieces together.
And that's because, like, what this movie truly is about, regardless of the fact that, yeah, there's dragons and, like, they ruined the world and we're in a post-apocalypse, blah, blah, blah. This movie, at its heart, is really about, like, survival, yes, but conflicts between humans and how they're separate. They don't agree, and then once they finally realize that they have the same common enemy in the same way, then once they come together, then that's when we have the movie can go and have its climax and end. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this movie is just more or less about humans and conflict and how we can work. If we find common interest, we can work together, which is also that's what survival is about.
It's really weird hearing Christian Bale speak like not with an American accent.
Oh, and actually speak with his Wales accent.
It's just it's so, I think I'm just so used to him.
I wonder if he's gonna keep his accent. And does he have his? I can't remember for Love of Thunder.
I don't remember either. I want to say he has some kind of like accent.
I think he just has a weird slur to his.
Yeah. All the gods. Almost. Yeah. He's always kind of had like a little lisp though, like a very tiny one.
Does he use an American accent in The Prestige? I can't remember. Silence.
I think he has an accent.
I think he's using a because it's set.
It's not an American accent though.
No. Oh no, that movie's set in London, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he probably just has his regular. Yeah, he's probably just speaking himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the most interesting thing about this movie was probably McConaughey and the whole
He's fucking insane.
The whole Moby Dick kind of thing.
Oh, I didn't put that together. That's really good. Yeah.
Like,
the white whale.
Yeah, it's his own Moby Dick kind of like he's what's his Captain Ahab.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, he's very like Ahab-y in the whole like, because even that whole like scene when they're in that 15-minute scene that brings the movie together, it's like that look in your eye. I thought it was all, but I know now it's insanity, or whatever the fuck he said.
That is
He's like, "You crazy motherfucker."
Yeah, he is. No, and also it's like fucking McConaughey through this entire movie. It looks like he's about to fucking like
he's gonna lose it.
Yeah, like he's like he's like on the verge of tears almost.
Yeah, and it is like they did the whole look of awe. It does look like that, like he's like really wide eyed. It's like it's not awe. He's like he's about to snap at any moment.
Mm-hmm. And like did you notice that when they're driving the tank into the compound, how he's sitting on the gun like the gun's just like a giant dick coming out of him?
Notice that.
I was like, I think McConaughey's doing that. That's a character choice right there. That's a look how big my dick is as I ride this tank. This tank is my dick.
And his fucking tattoos.
Those are actually kind of cool. For what it is, yeah. For
very
that time,
yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's like also the fact that I love like one of the things that's really just like clear cut and dry for this movie is McConaughey being the American. You know, he is a representation of what America is and how like pushy and volatile we can be, you know, especially, you know.
Well, it's also like it's a whole like he's for the greater good kind of person.
Exactly.
Like,
and then like he even like makes this like pretty much calls all of the, you know, British people a bunch of ninnies, you know, in a way.
Oh, when they're partying,
yeah,
that thing.
Well, not even that, but just like I forget exactly which point, but he pretty much says like, we're gonna do something about this by killing the dragons. What are you gonna do? Just like hide? Like pretty much like, what are you gonna be, a bitch?
Oh yeah,
be a little
like
bitch?
like he's basically like, I'm trying to save them, and he's like, you're just letting them die slowly.
Yeah.
You know, like, but that whole thing too, like when they're partying and he's like, you disgust me. I'm like,
I mean, I
get both points.
It's really interesting. Is like, I get his like sentiment and what he's saying is like, yeah, no, like these like everyone also at that party. Yeah, that party scene was kind of when it just all was like, oh look, you killed a dragon, good for you.
Well, that's the thing though.
But the way that he comes out and like says it, just like, you know, you could have said that a little bit differently, buddy.
Yeah, but it's also like because then immediately after they show the graveyard, and it's like, yeah, this might be the dragon that's been in this area forever. It's their big bad wolf, and someone finally killed it. Like they're stoked because this thing might have killed their fathers and their mothers.
Yeah. It's like it could have been a thing like, hey, have your victory now, but this is one of many.
Well, like that whole, at this rate will be done in 365 years. You're like, oh god, chewing on a cigar.
And the editing for all of this, like, there's so much editing of just like Matthew McConaughey and his crew, and they're saying something, and there's like reactions of everybody, and then like cut to Christian Bale on his own, just like judging, like,
I felt like this was kind of one of Christian Bale's like weaker performances.
Yeah.
Like, and one of McConaughey's like,
nobody's winning any awards.
McConaughey was cool. I mean, he was just a cool caricature of a military dude, you know.
And also like his whole like, at all costs, at any cost, we will get this done type of like scenario. Like, you know, you have it really on the head when you're comparing him to Captain Ahab.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really think about that whole Moby Dick thing, but yeah, he is 100%.
Well, the way it ends too.
I just didn't think about it.
No, I'm just saying it's like it's like just so like it really is just this, and I think that's what that review was kind of saying is borrowed parts.
Yeah. But that's actually, I feel like, when I don't know, if you're actually, you know, borrowing from like classic literature, you know, creating, like, I think that's kind of cool. I wonder if that was kind of more of like, I kind of want to know what the story that the first two writers, you know, I want to see that script.
Well, I'm kind of like thinking about what you're saying about like expanding on this, because there are some cool ideas.
Yeah.
Like the helicopter and dropping the flying suit people.
The archangels.
Yeah, to like attach chains to the dragon mid-flying is a cool idea, but then it's like
they were falling for way too long.
No, but it's also like that didn't work out great, number one. And number two, then when they're like recruiting, they get the kid who's gonna like, he's like, he'll make me an art. I'm like, how? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean you're just gonna be in you're just gonna start jumping out of like helicopters with to tackle dragon? Like, what do you mean you're just gonna do that? And that's one of those kind of like loose, like And like, no, that doesn't make any. Like, I wish because Christian Bale had this kind of like
that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, like I wish he had kind of a like.
These molecules meet these molecules.
Doesn't make it. Yeah, he kind of just has a no. I need you here to lead them when I'm gone, kind of thing. It's more of like, the fuck are you talking about? You're just gonna start doing this. It was just so stupid.
I mean, what's another like the insane thing with like Van Zandt?
What a great like name too.
I don't know.
I loved it, Van Zandt.
When he's like pretty much like, I'm going to take your people to be my soldiers now. Just like, fuck you are.
Well, no, but that was a great thing.
That's the inciting action to that awesome fight. Yeah.
But even just the way he did it, too, is like, all right. Volunteer part is over. Now we're drafting. I was like, okay.
It's like, as soon as like, if someone is to stand up and be like, all right, who wants to volunteer? And they're like, okay, four, that's all we got. Okay, now it's time for the draft. To be like, oh, fuck you, no.
Well, that's what Christian Bale did.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That's what Quinn did. How many times a day do you think with McConaughey walking around, he hears, all right.
Probably a lot. When
it's like Owen Wilson in
wow. I mean, I feel like people like Matthew McConaughey and even like Owen Wilson, they're so like recognizable. Like they have to like you do the hat, sunglasses, kind of like hide themselves.
Oh yeah, pandemic's perfect. Mask.
Oh no, I forget who was talking about that, but they were like this. I think it was Leo DiCaprio maybe. Like they're like this is awesome. It was Brad Pitt. He's like I can walk out of the house. And like, because Brad Pitt is known to like actually put on disguises when he leaves, so he doesn't get recognized outside. Yeah,
that's what I would do. That'd be fun.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
I'd have a whole room of like wigs and.
That's kind of what he has. Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
But he's like, no, it's like put on some sunglasses, put on a hat, put on a mask. Nobody fucking knows who you are. Yeah.
What if he accidentally fucked up and he accidentally dressed up like Louis, or like he put on like a long brown wig and he's like, all right, this will work, and everyone's like, hey, it's Louis. You know, like, he accidentally dressed up like one of his characters.
That would, I don't even know how to respond to that. That would be that sounds like an SNL skit, honestly.
That's a shower thought.
Yeah. All right. So I actually kind of like I kind of like actually thought about the characters' arcs. And you know what's actually kind of funny is we haven't talked about Alex at all, the female main character of this goddamn movie. That much, because she wasn't a very well written character.
No, she wasn't.
It was like even like one of my notes I have on here was like a weak love story, you know, because it truly like
inconceivable love story.
Yeah, I wrote Alex's arc is dependent on the mission / the men's story arc, and more specifically Quinn.
And, I mean,
it didn't start out like that. Like you were saying,
it took a hard left.
Like it started out in a really like solid, like she's like his general or whatever, right? You know, like she's flying the helicopter.
She is the pilot, and they like.
It's like her and Van Zandt are the people in charge, really.
Yeah, and Van Zandt needs her for her skills.
Yeah. To
help fight dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly Christian Bale comes in, and then that's when it takes the hard, like after he gets his ass kicked, they have this weird.
Even before that, when he's like making food, she like comes in and she's all googly eyed at him, and they're all like kind of flirty and whatnot. It's like he's like, this is where it's like, oh, they're planting the seeds of them gonna have a love story together, and it's just like, you know, he's like, why do you do it? And she's like, well, why do you do this? Where'd you get this kid? Most people would have just left him behind to die. You're so cool.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's just it's like if you want to do that, that's fine. But you need to also allot enough time to actually make it make sense. Because even then, a lot of the time, like what was it? I was watching something else, and it was like the end of the world kind of thing a while ago. And basically, someone's partner passed away, and they very quickly got with someone else. And it's like, yeah, it's the end of the world.
Yeah,
we don't know how much time we have, basically. Like, I want to have connection with someone before I die, kind of thing.
Also, you don't know what's happened in the relationship. The grieving process could have been very short.
Yeah, you know, like, so it's like when that, you know, you can kind of make that that's kind of how the world works now.
Yeah.
You know, but they didn't really dive into that at all. And it's kind of a bummer because she could have just been a cool fucking helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
That kills dragons, but no, we gotta make her.
I mean, it is 2002, and you know when you have a attractive female and attractive male on screen, you gotta have them get together. Apparently. Yep. But yeah, so I mean, her whole, and even like towards the end, like they just make like fucking. That was one of the things that I thought was ridiculous, but makes sense for Van Zandt's character, is how even towards the end of it, he's using her as bait to draw out the dragon for himself. Mm-hmm. He's like, we have a window. Like he's saying, like you have a window to move with the dragon's not there, lying to her. Mm-hmm. And he's like, on my count, you run towards. He's like, it's like, dude, like, and like Quinn sees that what's happening the entire time. And he's like, no, fucking don't run. You know?
Yeah. Oh, and I was also just thinking that.
And this is that at any costs, like Van Zandt's, like he would sacrifice one of his strongest soldiers just to get a chance at killing the dragon.
I was just thinking too, this movie kind of loses points for kind of like, especially for me, like in who I am, it's visually not fun to watch.
It's really not. Like even like the CGI really isn't all that good as well.
I mean, I'm fine with them because I'm also, we know as like...
No, even in 2002, the CGI was not
but
good.
it's like, yeah. I mean, especially, well, it's fine at the end when you actually get the dragon on dragon fight. It's all right, but it's also like 30 seconds of the movie, basically. But it's just the world they made, and I get it's supposed to be an ash-ridden barren wasteland or whatever.
Yeah.
But it just didn't look good. Like Edge of Tomorrow, Snowpiercer looked cool. Mm-hmm. Mad Max looked really cool, and even like if you want to like Mad Max is different because it was so vibrant and everything. But even Snowpiercer, being a barren wasteland of snow, it looked like it was beautiful in a sense, in a very kind of depressing way. But the buildings and the ships knocked over the frozen seas and everything, it just looked really interesting. This was just kind of like, I don't know. I just didn't. The only scene that I actually thought was really cool is when they first get to London and the hundreds of dragons, just because you can kind of see them, and kind of count a couple of them. You're like, oh, there's like 3 or 4, and then there's like a dozen, and then the big dick comes out and starts like chasing and eating. Like that was the only scene that I was like, okay, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
but other than that, like, and I guess and also the bummer too is the only kind of interesting character is McConaughey.
Yeah,
because of his obsession. Because of his Captain Ahab.
Well, Quinn himself really, I mean,
he's also kind of two-dimensional. Like
a little. I mean, his whole thing is like he wants to keep his people safe.
I mean, yeah, but it's, he fell down the well and instead of a bat, it was a dragon. You know what I mean?
And he becomes Dragon Man.
He becomes Dragon Man. Breathing fire up the mountain. I don't know. I mean, you're obviously everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I thought Christian Bale's character Quinn was just very boring.
I mean, yeah, he is, but he's supposed to kind of be. There is actually one, I forgot about this moment that I really wanted to bring up is there is a whole idea of like legacy that this movie is about as well, because like through like this survival is like, because like Quinn to I think Jamie, the kid that he saved, where he's like the one that he wants to like, he's like, you're the future for this compound, pretty much.
Yeah.
There's that, but then also when they're telling the story, Jared, thank you. When they're telling Star Wars to the kids, all the orphans, cool. And the Dark Knights and the White Knights, and no. I am your father.
That was actually really cool. For like an apocalyptic setting, it was cool to like. That was a nice lore building.
Yeah, exactly. There's little snippets like there is like an idea of like what could have been a really fun, good movie, like well thought out movie, but when it starts turning into like this weird like action fest. Yeah, and it's like in a movie that is so much about like how dragons terrorize everybody. The dragons really aren't like. I mean, I guess that's kind of the whole like the terror and horror aspect of what this movie can have. Is you don't want to show too much of the dragons because you want to keep the dragons as
like Jeepers Creepers 2, kind of thing. He kind of lost his
fear.
Once he loses the trench coat, he kind of doesn't become scary anymore. weirdly, even though because he's a flying demon creature.
Yeah. But
well,
this movie is so much more about the humans and the conflict.
It's kind of interesting with this conversation. I think we kind of figured out. I mean, it kind of clicked for me what this movie was and what it became. It almost kind of felt like it feels like the original story was going to be more like that, like more lore building in the sense of they tell their stories now via of movies when they were kids and you know in their time to these children and like all this kind of stuff. And then it felt like, okay, so this is 2002. We now need to like force feed action sequences at these certain points.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, we're at the 30-minute mark, action scene. Okay, we're at the 45-minute action, like stamp.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it feels like. And because they had to lead into these action sequences, that's when it starts kind of unraveling to better fit these
like
moments,
even just like the whole
set pieces.
It's like the whole like it's this whole idea of like the archangels that like dive into the sky through the sky to like bait a dragon, and then they capture the dragon with nets, and there's this like 3D mapping situation. How quickly everyone's like, oh, they're using some type of 3D mapping situation, and like one of these people got killed, and Christian Bale's like, I gotta go out there and help him now. It's like you get out there, it's like you don't even know what you're looking for, but you somehow know that this thing that's beeping fortunately is beeping, so you can be like, oh, maybe this is what I need to stick into the ground. Like it's so illogical with all of that. And then like how like they're falling for like minutes, man.
Well, so there's that, right? And then she, and I just looked it up too because I as you were talking I remembered that she even says like that she wasn't planning on being on the ground during the whole final scene. She was planning on being 35,000 feet up, and I was like, that's really high for a helicopter, right? And I just looked it up, and depending on most helicopters can fly at a maximum altitude of 25,000 feet.
Really?
Yeah, depending on like
10,000 feet is that's a difference.
Yeah,
that's
10,000. Yeah, 25 to 35,000 feet. That's I'm pretty sure. Like, isn't 35,000 feet like a commercial air flight?
I don't know, actually. I mean, you could argue that line is in hyperbole, but are you looking at
that is true. Like she was just like being like,
yeah,
like she's just like,
essentially that line could have been just like, I was supposed to be up in my helicopter, not down here with you.
Highest commercial airplane can fly is 45,000 feet.
45,000. Okay.
Most military 50,000. Some rocket powered planes can fly as 100,000.
Holy shit! That's like almost to the fucking like stratosphere, isn't it?
I mean, you're probably gonna get to where you're going real fast. Real fast. Set up your laptop. Oh, we're landing.
Did I just time travel?
That's a thing too. Like, I guess every time you fly is time travel if you're changing time zones.
Time is a construct.
You haven't said that in a while.
I know.
But yeah, there's a lot of carrots that you have to just kind of take. Like, okay, yeah, just like everything you just said. It's like, all right, so we got these people that jump out of helicopters at 35,000 feet, apparently, that have like, what are those tire things that cops put out for high speed chases?
Just like
spikes. Yeah, they have we have wing spikes that clearly don't work very well because it didn't do much.
But I mean, they've taken on dragons before, so it has technically worked. It was just this was a little bugger.
high mortality rate for this job.
No, 100%. So then when the kid's like, I'm gonna go be an archangel, it's like, you mean you want to
Don't they say the average lifespan is like 17 seconds or something? Yeah. They say some weird like number like that. Yeah, and we have these 3D printer. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. And also, I was kind of like wondering, like, I guess they had the farm. I'm like,
McConaughey is like, you're gonna use yourself as bait now, Quinn. Bring that dragon to me.
Yeah. Oh, and even just like, and then going back to the whole Ahab thing, how he dies was fucking so.
I love it.
It was stupid, but it was fucking sick because you're like, because it also goes into that he's lost his fucking mind.
Yeah.
But like him just jumping with the axe, like, oh, and that killed me too. Like, so he does that thing, and he just, I mean, it's like that death you showed me from Skull Island.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's just like,
so
you're like, oh. That's it. I mean, and you're like, makes sense. This is a huge dragon and a crazy dude with an axe.
What's actually, I remember very distinctly for the trailer for this movie, that being like McConaughey and the dragon, like McConaughey jumping, and it's like the meat, and like there'd be like, and it would cut to rain of fire. I remember like I want to see him fight a dragon
with
and
an
then
axe midair.
Yeah, and I was like, that's gonna be so cool.
We're not doing that.
And then the movie happens, and I was like, I remember just like, oh.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a letdown.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. And then also the whole like thing about how they kill the main dragon with a crossbow bolt of C4 when apparently we've been dropping nukes and have destroyed our own world. I'm like, I'm sorry, but C4 in the mouth is going to do it, but a nuke's not?
I mean, scales, man.
Oh, no, but also they didn't know about the whole reproduction process.
Yeah.
There's one man. Yeah, okay. That's fair. But then I got really angry at the end of the movie. Because, yay, like, it's been 3 months and we're together and we have a radio tower. I don't speak French.
I don't speak French. Oh, my French isn't very good.
Yeah. I was just like, ugh, God. And then they like...
He's like, you're now in charge, son.
Yeah, and he puts his arm around her or whatever. And then he picks up the axe that he went and collected from Van Dam... What's his name?
Van Zandt. Well, that's kind of like... that... I see why you don't like it.
Fuck you. You didn't use this axe to kill shit. You used a C4 bolt. What the fuck are you going to do with this axe?
Okay. What that is, though, in a visual storytelling thing, is that with him picking up the axe, we are now we are remembering Van Zandt as well with the other two heroes.
That's fine. But don't pretend, Quinn, that you know what to fucking do with that axe.
All he did was pick it up. It's not like he was trying to use it.
No, but that's what it's implying. It's like that's his weapon now that he carries around with him in case the dragon attacks. That's what it's implying. 100%.
No, it's a visual story for us to remember Van Zandt.
I know, but from a story standpoint, why does he have the axe? Because he's planning on using it. He's not carrying it around like, oh, this guy. You want to hear about this axe? This guy was crazy. You know what I mean? Like, from a character standpoint, he's planning on using that axe. Fuck you, Quinn. You're not going to be able to do shit with that axe. No one could. We obviously saw that. Van Damme, the crazy psychopath.
It's not like he's going to... You're saying that he's going to use it to fight dragons. No, he's going to use it as an act. He saw what happened when a human tried to use it to fight a dragon.
I disagree. I think he's in his stupid...
We're arguing over a stupid fucking axe.
In his stupid Quinn brain, he's like, oh, this is totally going to fuck up a dragon.
Yeah, because that's 100% in Quinn's... Like, that, we learned that Quinn was an idiot like that. No, shut up. God.
Pissed me off. The axe pissed me off, but also the whole like him jumping into the maw of the beast, also very Ahab.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
going down with the ship kind of.
No,
thing.
you hit the nail on the head with that. With like, I mean, it's so clear and obvious. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh yeah,
and that's what makes him the most interesting character.
Yeah.
Because like even like Gerard Butler's doesn't. I mean, he has like a sacrifice moment, but he's also just kind of there.
I mean, he's support to Quinn. You know, like. He's kind of like the scruffy comic relief.
But that's yeah. But like going back to the original story too, it felt like a lot of these characters were going to go somewhere. Even the Hawk guy, the lookout, he kind of started off like sleazy, like he was going to do something, like do something bad that was going to cause like a situation.
Well, there's a whole
really
like Eddie storyline of the guy that like that's actually this movie does do a good job of kind of like setting up how everything's going to unfold, because you get very clear on that Quinn
on who's who and what's what.
Yeah, because of like how like they're like Eddie's freaking out and he's booking it to stop this guy named Eddie to do whatever, who's getting ready to pretty much take their like one of their only vehicles pretty much and abandon them and like
totally
and like take the crops and like. Yeah, so like there's good world building in this whole thing.
But that's the thing. It's that same thing with what was her name?
Alex.
It's the same thing. It's like the whole beginning of this movie. It does feel like it's going somewhere, and then it's kind of right like after the like fight that it kind of takes this left where you're like.
I would say as soon as they actually start doing the first like the Archangel thing, that's when it gets.
It just becomes this kind of a stupid action movie.
Yeah.
With nothing really developing.
There is, but like, there's the moment when they get to London and they kind of realize that, like they should have listened to Quinn. They like this dragon's going to fucking kill them. Like it takes out his entire platoon except for him and Alex pretty much. What?
No, just like, I just kind of realized too, like, there's this whole Twilight they can't see thing.
Oh, the magic hour.
Yeah, the magic hour that they kept kind of bringing up, and they never really presented that as an audience member very well. Like, it shows like some weird dragon vision,
Which also the dragon vision is ridiculous. Like, why do we need to see the point of view of the dragon 2 or 3 times? Like,
yeah, and it's like it doesn't. I mean,
it's like it looks like Predator vision in a weird way.
Yeah, and it's also
the music also reminded me of Predator a little bit now that I think about it.
And he's like, it's like, oh, this magic hour isn't great because like, oh, look, he's right there. I can still see him.
Yeah,
I can still see him going.
Right.
Like, as I just thought, it was just kind of like a weird thing they like brought up and never really developed.
Well, I mean, the whole idea is that at the end of the movie when they're fighting the dragon, that's supposed to be magic hour.
Yeah, I know, but I get that, but it just, I don't know. I just didn't feel like, as an audience member that was watching, I didn't feel like it was very like flushed out.
It felt like it was a forced idea put in there type thing. Yeah,
I think it was to like to give us humans an edge.
Yeah,
like Predator, the mud, you know.
There is that moment when the dragon does like take out the castle. That's kind of actually a pretty intense moment. When Christian Bale's like,
well, in the build of the guy at the radio, and you see it kind of getting brighter and brighter and brighter. That was a cool shot.
I don't know. Like, this movie, I mean, I was excited to do a review of it because I wanted to see how well it did stand up, because I do remember it just kind of being a meh movie for me when I was younger. But it's still just kind of that. I mean, it's like if it's on in the background, sure, I'll watch it. Like,
it's kind of a gremlin for me.
A gremlin, really?
Yeah, because it's just there's just not enough for me to like. The only real thing that I find like interesting is the McConaughey thing. He's not really like. I mean, I would like to actually like clock how long he's in the movie, but everything else is like, you know, I'll give a lot of points for visual. It's like, yeah, the movie can be stupid, but it fucking rocked. Like when it comes to art department and special effects and stuff. And maybe it's because it's so old that I don't. I mean, I basically don't ever need to watch this ever again. You know,
there's one thing. What I was reading in production, like they had a problem with the dragon. So like this is directly from Wikipedia. It said that like in recent years there have been several movies starring creatures with scaled surface. So they're talking about like the dragon's digital effects and how it posed a problem for the animators. So like in Jurassic Park, Dragonheart, and Lake Placid, they had creatures with like these like scaled surfaces. And what it's like, the surfaces of these creatures have generally been constructed by layering painted textures atop displacement maps. This gives the model texture, but the scales stretch and shrink under the movement of the creature, giving a rubbery look that is not realistic.
Yeah, like I was talking about earlier, like the reptilian-like creatures can be really...
But like, yeah, because how the scales move. It's not skin. Yeah. There's skin underneath the scale. Like, you got to think of scales as more like hair.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, because also it's like, even like that whole T-Rex chase scene in Jurassic Park doesn't look great nowadays. Like, the animatronics are phenomenal. Like, you know, like the actual dolls, I guess you could call them. And then Dragonheart looks okay. It looks
very animated.
It looks very animated, but it's like it kind of leans into that so hard that it's like, okay, it's almost like, you know, it's almost like a Disney movie.
Apparently, speaking of legacy, when I brought up that, there is because of this movie, the mechanism of the dragon's fire breath in this movie is what it's like inspired from, like the biology of real life creatures.
Oh,
yeah, it's like, so it's a real life creature such as anti-predator adaptation of like beetles and like other like vipers, the glands of vipers and whatnot, which then inspired for how dragons would work in Harry Potter and Goblet of Fire and Game of Thrones and whatnot. So like this movie, how they introduce how dragons like use fire breath essentially.
Yeah, they like, it's like the whole idea is that they shoot out like a flammable liquid and like they have a flint in their mouth kind of thing that sets it on fire, right?
It's two liquids that once to combine together create a combustion.
Fire.
Yeah, which is why the dragon's always drooling.
And that's the liquid.
And then, because if you remember at the beginning when it's like all of a sudden like the ground just kind of setting fire around his feet, it's because that's the two liquids that it secretes combining together on the ground, combusting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool little legacy.
Yeah. So I mean, this movie kind of had like a cool thing. Also, there's a canceled sequel.
I'm not surprised by that.
Christian Bale was asked, and he says, "Is there a sequel possibility for it?" Which Bale responded, "Possibly. I told Scott Motor, who plays my stepson in the movie, that he's well positioned to take the sequel for me because of the way the movie ends. AKA, I'm not fucking doing another one.
What do you rate it?
I'll agree with you with Gremlin. I kind of feel more like a mogwai that's a wet mogwai. Or not a wet mogwai, a mogwai that's eaten after midnight.
It's turning into a gremlin.
Yeah, it's turning into a gremlin.
Yeah, I don't have enough to like... Because it's not even like bad to me in a fun way that I wouldn't like the Phantom. I know I always bring that up, but that's like...
No, yeah.
If someone's like to come up to me and is like, the Phantom sucks, I'll be like, yeah, I know, but I love it. You know, that doesn't have that like... Yeah. Because it's like taking itself too seriously.
Is it interesting? I mean, because the movie is supposed to be, it is supposed to kind of take itself seriously because it's supposed to be like grounded in a reality of what if dragons existed.
Yeah,
you know?
Dragons are eradicating the humankind. Yeah, I get that, but it just doesn't.
No, it's just because whatever the script just it became too much of probably just over. Producers overdoing what they want to see on film.
I think they just.
And this is really the age of like it, like during like the early 2000s to even like the 2010s, like even the 90s. Producers had their grubby little hands and shit.
And in the 2000s, also had a lot of just really bad movies came out. The 2000s.
Because like I feel like this is actually a very original idea type thing, because I can't think of any movie ever where they're like modern times and there's dragons.
Well, the blend of mystical, fantastic creatures mixed with high tech military technology. I
mean, Harry Potter's the closest in a way.
Nah, but even then, they're
that's all.
It's in its own bubble of a world, you know.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm trying to think. Is there another kind of like...
I can't think of one.
Medieval creature feature, but with modern day... I can't think of one. I'm sure there is, though.
I mean, you can say Godzilla.
Army of Darkness.
But yeah, no, it's like... to be grounded in so much reality and whatnot, I feel like this movie has originality to it, and I just think it was just...
Poorly executed.
Poorly executed, which is why I think I think... If they were to do something more with it today, I think this could become like a TV franchise.
Yeah, let us write it.
Yeah,
we like dragons.
Sneaky dragon.
I'm a sneaky little dragon.
All right, I think we should be wrapping up.
Cool. You want to tell them what we're doing next week?
Next week we're doing The Edge of Tomorrow. Tom Cruise.
I forgot about that. Oh, we're doing another cruise.
Yeah, we're finishing off our post-apocalyptic dystopian. Future block. Even though like, this movie, it's more like it's about aliens that have like kind of like taken over, gotten out of the world, but like the movie itself, it's not going to kind of fit in the same genre kind of how these are, because it's more like a time loop movie.
Okay, well, interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, please like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, all that kind of fun stuff. We're on most podcast streaming sites: Apple, Spotify, Patreon.
Yeah, sorry about last. We were already way past that when you guys are going to listen to this. Never mind.
No one knows what you're talking about.
Yep.
All right, cool. So we'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening. This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's Mixtape.